Hi, everyone. In this panel, we would like to explore how leading members of the Velocity Network Foundation are planning on implementing verifiable credentials and deploying their products and services on top of the Velocity Network. I'm really excited to host a team of amazing leaders from four of our members in this panel. Glen Cathey is the Senior Vice President and Head of Digital Strategy and Innovation at Randstad. He's also an observer of the Velocity Network Foundation Board of Directors. Welcome, Glen.
Thank you.
Mitul is a Senior Client Partner and Chief Commercial Officer for Healthcare Services at Korn, Ferry. Hi, Mitul.
Thanks, Etan. Great to be here.
Clint is the Managing Director for Healthcare and Life Sciences at HireRight.
Hey, thank you. Pleased to be here.
Great, Clint. And Bennion is a Director of Product Marketing, Innovation, and Strategy at Cornerstone onDemand, and he's an observer of the Velocity Network Foundation Board of Directors. Welcome, Ike.
Thanks for having me, Etan.
Great to have all of you with us. Each of the four of you represent a company in a different sector of the human capital management space: technology, advisory, services. Each of you is impacted differently by the emerging world of verifiable credentials and have different opportunities as a result of the adoption of the Velocity Network. I wanted to start by asking each of you, what changes in your products and or your services are you planning to build on top of the Velocity Network? And when will we see these available to your customers? Glen, how about you go first?
Sure. So from a Randstad perspective, and I'm sure I speak for the rest of the panelists, we've known for a while that people have grown increasingly accustomed to executing personal and business transactions in a self-service manner, literally at any time on any device, whenever it's convenient for them. And we also think this is where blockchain can play a significant role. It can make a huge difference, in essence, acting as a trusted source of truth, specifically in our domain for employers and employees, definitely delivering a greater sense of data security for employees' records. During the European event yesterday, our Chief Digital Officer, Renee Steenborden, he highlighted that the workforce that we employ on a daily basis will be able to curate their learning and experience gained through their time with us with verifiable career credentials. This is going to help them gain better career opportunities. The experience of job seekers, as well as contingent workers engaged with Randstad, will be elevated to a whole new level with job matching applications that use permission-based access for these verifiable career credentials and offer them to the next best step in their career. Now, compliance and license monitoring for our customers will be automated and instant. Candidate data is going to be enriched with dozens of verifiable career facts, allowing customers to make better talent decisions and job seekers to make better career decisions. And above all, we'll stay on top of compliance and tightening privacy regulations. And this will eventually become available as soon as we have any customers that are ready to move forward with us.
Great, thanks, Glen. Mitul, Korn Ferry is a very different type of business. How are you seeing the implementation of the Velocity Network?
It is indeed, Etan. As we think about what Korn Ferry strives to do and enabling organizations to reach or achieve their strategic priorities with the talent that they have, and leveraging what Glen just talked about in terms of experience and linking experience to healthcare outcomes, I think there are two main elements that we really see, and that is credentials as a benefit. I mean, we deliver some 5 million assessments, 200,000 leadership development programs. Our premise is that wouldn't it be great if a healthcare system X or Y would allow their employees to get their related trust-based credentials as an asset they can carry and decide to share, whether that's for internal mobility, for external hiring, or for other needs, right? And I guess the second application that we're looking at is a career performance app that is an additional value for those individuals and healthcare systems that can expedite the speed to productivity. So if you think about having this combined profile of individuals, the sum of credentials they have for their education, their experience, their profiles based on assessments, it allows for a shorter trajectory and a greater speed to getting the healthcare outcomes that we're looking for. So a healthcare provider will be able to use and analyze the aggregate data of all its employees using the app for better predictive workforce planning, enhanced engagement, and better outcomes all around.
Thanks, Mitul. And Cornerstone is a software company. How does this all relate to your business?
Absolutely. There's definitely some overlap in the way that Glen has articulated as well as Mitul. And it all goes back to what Phil has said earlier in the keynote, which is that we've entered an age of resilience. It's important to instill this resilience not only for healthcare providers, but also for their workforce. And the key way that we do that through blockchain is the two main functions of it. First, to inspect credentials that not only can we understand can someone work for our organization, but also should they? We have that clarity through those career facts, as Glen has articulated, to be able to find a good fit along the lines of where someone's passions are, what they can do, and where they want to go. But then also, if we look at the issuance, giving people their credentials, we're not only helping to align people to the organization itself, but there's also an opportunity for them to invest in themselves with the learning and the training that they're taking within the organization. So in the end, the patient wins because there's this extra layer, this extra level of investment that someone takes, because it's not just them doing it because they have to do it for their job. It's also them taking training, developing themselves further, getting more feedback from their peers, because then it reflects in their career as they progress along past their current position.
Great. And Clint, where does HireRight fit in all this?
Yeah, it definitely aligns, in terms of business, similar to what Ike had said, in his points. Over the years, I've worked with, many large health systems, and from our perspective, one of the key pain points is the time that it takes to onboard candidates. It's, especially as it relates to the employment, education, the license verification process. HireRight has one of the highest verification rates, but there's always room for improvement. And I think that's where we feel that the Velocity Network and verifiable credentials will really have a big impact as it relates to background screening. We've got several use cases that are currently under consideration, specific to the employment, education, and license verification process. In the future, we would like for our candidates to be able to easily provide their employment, education, and license credentials, at the time they start the background screening process. Instead of, no more faxing, calling, emailing or uploading images, just overall, instead of waiting 3 to 5 days to get a verification result back, let's make it happen faster. Verifiable credentials will not be a product in our system like our customers are ordering today. It's actually going to be a whole new way of information exchange, upfront, in a trusted and more secure manner to help ensure speed, accuracy, and compliance. We always want to put the customer first, and I think we're at a point now where we want to work with organizations to really nail that down and make that happen to enhance our solutions.
Thanks. I think it's really exciting listening to the four of you and how each of you come from a different aspect of this industry, but how there are very much commonalities of the value both to the individuals and the organizations around trust, speed, quality, personalization that each of you have represented, and how this could all come together as this emerges and grows. So thank you for that. Many of your clients are in the audience today here listening. And by this point in our event, I'm sure most of them are excited about what they've heard. And they're asking, what next? How do I engage and make this happen in my healthcare organization? What is your invitation to those people in the audience that are your clients? What is your call to action to them? Ike, why don't you go first?
Thank you. I'm sure this all also sounds very futuristic to some people in the audience. And what my call to action, my heed to them is that it's not. This is something that is very much so going to happen this year in terms of labor credentials. And now is the time to think about your organization. What does this mean? How does this impact the way that we look at candidates, look at internal mobility? And Cornerstone, I didn't answer your previous question from the last one, which is what's our timeline for this? We have our design mocks, we have our data flows. We are ready to execute on this in order to ensure that we can issue credentials out to the marketplace. And my call to action to anyone that is a Cornerstone client, or even between some of the shared clients between us on this panel, start a conversation. Let's talk about what this means for your organization. Let's make sure that it meets the needs to replace some of these workflows that were a little bit clunky that we've relied on in the past. And let's help you to embrace this technology that will bring more value for the future.
Thank you. Clint, what are you asking your clients to do in relation to working with you around velocity and verifiable credentials?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Ike said related to it feeling futuristic, but it's really not. I mean, it's here. I mean, I've been with HireRight for 19 years, and I've seen our customers go from a paper-based, solution to implementing streamlined integrations with our applicant tracking system partners. I mean, I feel that verifiable credentials will be the next evolution to help automate and drive down onboarding, the onboarding time, the increase accuracy and improve the overall candidate experience, especially whenever it comes to the background screening process. For the customers that have joined today, you're the most influential organizations in the healthcare industry, and we'd love the opportunity to work with you early in this process to help lead the way for other organizations. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a test environment in place, that will allow for customers to experiment on how the background screening and onboarding process will work in the future. And so, yeah, just please connect with us. We'd love to innovate together and want to understand the key scenarios impacting your business so we can ensure that the way we redesign our process will ultimately benefit your teams and your overall businesses. Thank you.
Thanks. And Glen, your Randstad customers in the audience, what is your message to them?
Sure. Yeah, well, we've performed and developed a proof of concept with Velocity. We're ready to take the next steps with any healthcare companies who are looking to take advantage of the power of self-sovereign identity and secure meaningful and verifiable credentials. We do think that you joining the Internet of Careers at this stage is a huge opportunity to influence how this emerging innovation will impact the healthcare industry. Like Clint said, this is an evolution. We might be on some of the early days of it, but it's better to be early than late, I think, to be perceived by candidates and other individuals as a leading organization so you can reap the maximum benefits of the network. While nurse and physician and similar recruiting really isn't Randstad's core business, we do support many hospitals and healthcare companies with information technology, finance, accounting, and even healthcare IT professionals. So we can be a valuable partner in helping you achieve your overarching human capital goals. So you can reach out to your existing Randstad contact if you have one. And if you don't, you can feel free to reach out to me to explore this exciting opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Mitul, what Korn Ferry customers, what should they be doing?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I have to echo everybody's comments. I mean, at the end of the day, this, all of this is being created with our clients and healthcare outcomes in mind. And so, understanding that we're not looking at this in a little black box and doing it in silos, I think, for the clients that are here today, your input and your value to make sure that we co-create and make sure the applications meet your needs is first and paramount. So we're going to be inviting clients to innovation labs and focus groups from May through August, and really see kind of two levels of joint reflection. So the first one is, does everybody understand and see the operational value of the blockchain or careers for them, right? So we're going to use proof of concept on assessment that we've already included in Velocity to explore how solutions can help identify, secure, or develop the best talent in healthcare. And look, to what degree does this impact cost of hire, right? Speed of hire and quality of hire, right? And what are the benefits that they can see themselves? And then secondly, as we think about the future and the future being here now, what is the strategic value? So on top of kind of the Velocity utility, how can business managers, HR, strategic managers kind of really optimize their workforce using trust-based data, analytics, and insights? So, the next few months are very, very exciting for the work that we're going to be doing with our clients.
Wonderful. It's so fun speaking with all of you about this and seeing how, as leaders in the industry, each of you is taking this forward. I'm sure your customers in the audience are now excited to engage with you and look forward to seeing how this emerges. So thank you, gentlemen, and we'll see you as this grows and rolls out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.